brought to you almost live from the Dude in the Basement Studios. Why? Because that's where the good stuff is. It's Sips, Suds, and Smokes with your smoking hosts, the good old boys. Suds, suds, suds. It's time for more suds.
Thank you, Hank. This is time for more suds. And this sud segment today is a brewery takeover with clown shoes out of Ipswich, Massachusetts. Joining me today for this segment is Reverend Mark.
Hello.
Julieanna.
Hiya.
And good old boy Dave.
Hello.
We've gathered 5 beers from Clown Shoes to go over today, and I'll tell you what we're going to cover here in this segment. Clementine, it's a white ale. Muffin Top, it's a Belgian-style triple IPA. Tramp Stamp, a Belgian-style IPA. Hoppy Feet, a black IPA. And Hoppy Feet 1.5, a double black IPA. So if you haven't catch some of our shows, our Sud Satings, I don't believe that's correct. Definitely not. Our Sud ratings are 1, that sucks, give me anything but a bud. 2, was that a belch? Number 3, what a relief. Number 4, a body should really not make that sound. And our all-time favorite, 5, listen to that hang time, give me another. So this was a brewery that none of us had had any of these beers, prior to today. Not a blind tasting, but still it was something that none of us had had before. Dave is up to the challenge of trying to offend someone in some state today and pissing off some brewery. So
somewhere very close.
We're confident that we can offend a state, a country, or a brewer. We are up to the challenge. So our first beer that we decided to taste is the Clementine White Ale. I've had a lot of wit-style beer, and I don't know, it's just didn't do it for me. I mean, I wrote down it was watery and orange and icky. So I start this off on a bad note.
What'd you really think?
Well, I wanted to offend someone today, Dave. I couldn't let you take it all. So my Sud's rating for this is 1. That sucks. Give me anything but a bud. Reverend Mark, what'd you think?
I gave it a 3, but I think it's a well-brewed beer in terms of how they executed, whatever they had in mind here. But a wit beer is supposed to be a very light,
watery,
somewhat watery. Well, not watery, but
orangey.
But really, traditionally, it's brewed with of course
flavor,
barley malt, and unmalted wheat.
Yeah.
And so it actually should have more of a milky, almost whiteness to it. And then you have the citrus. You can put in the orange peel and coriander if you like. I found that this, because it's a 6% beer, it's a little over the edge. They should have at least given the consumer a forewarning that this is
no flavor.
This is a double white. And so I would say that it's totally drinkable, but not quaffable. That is, it's not anything that you could have more than one of.
So your Sud rating for this was 3.
Yep.
What a relief. Julieanna, what did you think of the Clementine White Ale?
Okay, I'm completely different on this.
But of course.
I liked it. I gave it a 4.
A 4. Body should really not make that sound.
Yeah, I mean, it's a light beer. To me, it's a good summer style beer. The orange in it, to me, the Clementine makes it a little not as astringent, I guess, as an orange peel would be in a traditional wet beer. So I liked it.
Well, there you have it. It was not watery.
To me, it wasn't watery.
Dave, what do you think of Clementine White Ale?
Well, I'm kind of with Mark. I don't think this was a wit beer. For those who know what a wit beer is, you're not going to get what you're expecting. It almost tasted to me more like a Hefeweizen with a bubblegum flavor. But having said that, I thought it was a very drinkable, very flavorful. It tasted a little bit like juicy fruit to me.
Right.
And it's a beer that I could sit back and drink a few at the bar. So I gave it a 4.
A 4, but I should really not make that sound.
It was a very drinkable beer. There's no doubt about that. Actually, when I get into brewing holiday beers, I do what I call a Grand Cru. Of course, that Grand Cru is just kind of a loose designation for like sort of your special beer for the season. And typically, it's what I call a wit beer on steroids. So actually, this is closer to what I try to do for the holidays. That is a really high gravity white beer.
I don't think that makes us high gravity white beer.
It's a bit of an oxymoron.
Yes, right. What we add some hops to it, really kick it up a notch. John, please join us. All right. All right.
He'll be brewing that next week.
Yeah, next week. With Centennial hops right there.
They'll be brewing it right now.
Muffin Top IPA's up next. This is a Belgian-style triple IPA. So my tasting notes are, something is just not quite right. I just can't really figure it out. It's just...
can we have your liver?
I mean, something about it just is not working well. It is definitely not what I think is a Belgian, and there's just nothing about this that I really thought made any sense to me at all. And I think part of it is that it's that word triple. It asserts a certain flavor profile in my head that I just don't think of this as anything close to being a triple. So it somehow the process that they committed to just totally went off the range. So my suds rating for the Muffin Top from Clown Shoes is a 2. What's that a Belch? Reverend Mark, what do you think of Muffin Top? Oh, Mr. Triple.
Well, yeah, triple is one of my very favorite styles. I probably work on a triple. If I don't have something in my cellar that's a Belgian triple, I'm working on one. So it is one of my favorites. It's also a very simple beer in many respects. That is, your grist is mostly Pilsner malt, maybe a little bit of Munich, maybe a little bit of aromatic, a little bit of wheat, but you can actually brew one just straight Pilsner. And this whole thing about it being an IPA, that didn't come across in the classic Belgian dryness and spiciness that I look for in the yeast strains was not as prominent here, and so I gave it a 2. And I would just simply ask this beer: is or is you ain't a triple?
I think it sucks.
I think that sucks.
I think it sucks.
That is awesome.
It's close to that. All right, Julieanna, as you rate, fond of this beer.
I'm sensing a trend with this company. I mean, the Clementine isn't...
What, we've all panned it and you like it?
Well, no. I liked it, but it's not what you would expect out of a wit beer. And this is not what you would expect either out of a triple. So I'm rating it a 3, but it's like you get the candiness of a Belgian. And then I'm getting hoppiness. And then I'm getting this orange something that's in there that I don't quite get. So, yeah, it's not to style, clearly.
Good old boy Dave, what did you think of the Muffin Top Belgian IPA? I can't even believe I'm saying that more than once here.
Well, I think these guys are great brewers, first off. But I think they're terrible...
at style cues?
At stylizing their beers. But I gave this beer a 4.
A 4. Wow. Buddy should really not make that sound.
And I think it has some good...
Are you going to go home and make a triple and go, this is missing something.
And
I need to add some hops
Well,
to it.
I was going to actually channel John here in a minute because...
You knew it was coming.
Yeah.
I think it has a good blend of the Belgian style, but then it's got, and here comes the John word, it's got dank hops. And I think that's what probably throws a lot of people off, because if you're
I'm
looking...
sorry, I hit the wrong button there.
And that's what, dank. That is the perfect word, because that's what I taste
that
too.
hoppiness is... and
Rank or dank?
Dank.
Oh, I'm sorry. I
Dank.
got those confused.
you could say dank, you could say stank, rank maybe,
I can't say Belgian style triple IPA.
Right,
without
so
busting laughing.
if someone were to go and buy this beer thinking they're getting anything related to a Belgian triple, they will not be happy. But if you're wanting to try a funky IPA, this is a good beer to try.
All right. Well, there you have it. I look forward to Dave's Belgian style IPA soon at my cellar anyway. All right. Next up is the Tramp Stamp. It is a Belgian style IPA. My tasting notes are, it's the backside of something nasty.
Wow.
So, I mean, it just...
Honest.
Yeah, well, it wasn't that I was looking at the label. It just, wow, it just...
Somebody's not going to Ipswich, Massachusetts.
I am not
anytime
going...
soon.
We said that we were committed to offending somebody here. I just took up the challenge. That's what really happened, so...
It's not going to that part.
No, I'm sorry. I'm going to have to go down to Boston and just hang out in, that part of Massachusetts. I'm sorry. It just didn't do it for me. Although, I will say, my set rating, I did give it a 3. I would believe so. Reverend Mark, please save me.
No, well, I don't know if I can save you, but I can reach out a hand in your direction and say I'm
a believer. I have my hands up.
I can meet your 3 with another 3, and so far that's kind of going up in my estimation of these beers as we've judged them so far. I would say that this one is closer to a melding of the two styles of the Belgian and the IPA than anything I've tasted thus far, that is with the Clementine and the Muffin top. I'm getting like it's mostly just a kind of a hoppy pale ale more than an IPA, and I think that's because the Belgian aspect is introducing a little bit more malt, a little bit more fruit, a little bit more balance. Than you want in an IPA. You want, with a straight IPA, just something that might have a little bit of caramel, but other than that, it's just like, the malts are supporting entirely the bitter, the flavor, the aroma. So, I think that they're bringing these two styles together in a way that's interesting, and I give them a thumbs up for that, but the best I can give them is a 3.
Julieanna, what did you think of Tramp Stamp?
I thought it was...
I never thought I'd use those words.
In me?
That I would
With
just
me?
look at you straight up and say, what'd you think of the Tramp Stamp?
Well, at least I'm okay. I'm comfortable with
all
that.
right.
I thought it was watery. This was my watery beer.
Did you steal my tasting sheets and we got them backwards here? Is that it?
I gave it a 3, but with reservations. I just thought it was a little weak in flavor. And, maybe that's because of the Belgian style for what I consider an IPA. And the Belgian style kind of watered it down a bit.
Well, like I said, it was the backside of something nasty not happening there. Dave, what do you think of Tramp Stamp?
Well, I gave this one a 3.
A 3 as well.
I thought it was less successful than the other two we tried as far as blending Belgian style beers with more American endeavors with the hopping. So I thought it was a little bit more muddled.
Huh. Well, there you have it. We have 3 beers down and 2 to go, and I have to say that I'm glad that we're turning the tide here because
This is a complete waste of time.
And I'm glad that we're swinging around to the beers that I actually was told, hey, you really need to check out the Hoppy Feet from Clown Shoes was, where we kind of started down this adventure. All right, so these are both black IPAs. One is just a black IPA and the other is a double. And why don't we talk about these both together? We don't have to talk about them individually. So the Hoppy Feet itself, it's a black IPA. I just thought it was kind of average. It wasn't really anything real kind of extraordinary about it. It wasn't offensive, I will say that much. And I've had some black IPAs that I truly just went, wow, please don't make that anymore. But this isn't in that category yet. But so I had to give the Hoppy Feet a 2. Now the Hoppy Feet 1.5 is declared as a first anniversary ale, and I don't know if this is aged or I guess they just make it different, declaring it a double IPA. But I thought it was sweet, much better balance. And of probably all the beers we've had from Clown Shoes, that is the one that I probably like the most. And I'd actually come back to the Hoppy Feet 1.5. So I gave the Hoppy Feet 1.5 a 3. Where to relive. Reverend Mark, what'd you think of Hoppy Feet?
The Hoppy Feet, I gave it a 2+. It's thin.
You're not going to use the word watery?
Yeah, maybe that's go in that direction.
Maybe we should
It
charge
just really-
$5 for every time somebody says the word watery.
Of course, I have to take in black and IPA. Of course, IPA is what is establishing the style parameter that I'm evaluating. It just is not a really strong IPA. I mean, strong in the sense of it's got some bittering, but it's not overly bitter. It doesn't have that malt and that caramel aspect. There's a little bit of obviously it's dark, got some dark malts, but I don't know. It's just comes up a little short. It's not a bad beer, but it's just coming up a little short.
I think it sucks.
So what do you think of 1.5 then?
I gave that a 4.
A 4? Wow.
Maybe it's because in our last session we were looking into porters, and it kind of took me into the sort of the imperial direction, and I just felt as though it really touched on a lot of the different notes that I'm looking for.
Yeah, and I'm even tasting it again now, and I have to say, I would definitely come back to the 1.5, definitely.
Yeah, I mean it's not up there with a strong ale. It's not in the strong ale sort of region yet, but it's got a little bit of alcohol warmth, and the hop balance is good. The only criticism is that maybe there's not enough flavor and aroma of like an American hop that you might want to do, especially with a double strength beer. But that's hard to get in a bottled product. So I think it's probably as good as you can expect in a bottled product. Because let's remember, beer is about fresh, and you can't do that in the bottle.
Someone really wise taught me that one time early on. All right, Julieanna, it was Reverend Mark.
Nudge, nudge.
We
wink,
thought
wink.
so.
Yeah, learn from the best.
He's the wisest person.
Well, he gave me the fresh beer, so gave me fresh coffee. I'm screwed for life. All right, Juliana, what do you think?
I'm in a similar camp. The Hoppy Feet to me was a little medicinal, and
You didn't want to say the word watery either.
I'll go with water.
Okay, all right.
I'll put water. No, but it was. I mean, it was.
I think that's a 5 spot, right? I think that's what we agree.
Yeah,
All right, okay,
yeah.
good. I want to make sure.
But the medicinal taste sort of like overtook me, and for a black IPA, I certainly don't want that. And the 1.5 version, although it still is on the weak side for me, it's a lot better. Like I'm thinking, I want a big fat imperial flavor. So the 1.5 I would go back to.
So what's your ratings on each of those? Then?
On the Hoppy Feet, I'm going to give it a 3, and on the 1.5, I'm going to give it a 4.
All right, there you have it. Dave, what do you think of Hoppy Feet?
Well, when I tasted the first Hoppy Feet, first when I smelled it, I could smell it smelled like a Belgian. And so it made me think.
You just said smell hoppy feet.
Yeah. Well, I
don't know if that
I like to
works.
smell feet.
At least you didn't use the word watery.
Yeah. Not yet. Hold
Not
on.
yet.
But when I smelled it, it made me think that probably their house yeast is a Belgian type yeast. And that's just what they use in everything. Which, I mean, hey, you're running a business, that's cool. But the taste was unbalanced. It was weak and medicinal. I gave that one a 2.
Wow.
And so what I think happened is that they made the hoppy feet, and they were like, wow, this is too much to pour out. So let's bottle it and sell it. And then the Hoppy Feet 1.5 is where they fixed the recipe.
Yeah.
know?
I like that. I think that's pretty plausible.
And hey,
That's
you know, everything is about improving, growing, evolving. The Hoppy Feet 1.5 is a good beer. I would classify it more as an Imperial American Porter than I would a black IPA.
Yeah.
And I just got some feedback on one of my beers that was similar to that, so that's why I can say that. But it's got a good malty balance to the hops, And so I gave that one a 3.
What a relief. Well, there you have it. We've managed to go through these 5 beers from Clown Shoes from Ipswich, Massachusetts, a place that I probably will be banned from rather soon, but it was great that we could go through these today. Enjoyed the tasting once again. This is good old boy Mike.
Good old boy Mark. Peace out.
Good old girl Julieanna. Cheers.
Good old boy Dave. Thanks.
And we're going to ask you to keep on sipping. It's in the can.
It's in the can.
There we go.
This has been a One Tan Hand production of Sips, Suds, and Smokes, a program devoted to the appreciation of some of the finer slices of life. From the Dude in the Basement Studios, your hosts, the Good Old Boys, will see you all next time.